Okay, welcome everybody. This is Tesla Today, and we have Herbert, and this is Alexandra Mertz. We're going to be covering a couple of major topics. One is, what is Elon's compensation currently today with Tesla, and is there a way for him to make sure he does not lose control of the Tesla board with the annual shareholder meeting coming up? We're going to talk about clean energy funding. It's a lot bigger than we all realize. Welcome, Alexandra. How are you doing?
Hi, Herbert. Glad to be here.
Okay, so one of the big news that happened just 15 minutes ago was this announcement by Tesla that they were going to do a big announcement at headquarters of California Engineering with Elon Musk and Gavin Newsom. You streamed this on your channel, on your Twitter, Alexandra, and this was the logo that they had on the stream. And this is one still shot that happened during that presentation. Please tell me, what is it that they covered?
So they covered that Tesla is taking over the former Hewlett-Packard headquarters. And it was obviously symbolic, other than being a beautiful site, because Hewlett-Packard was one of the first, if not the first, huge investment in Silicon Valley, and has a very privileged site there. So it had this whole symbolic from the old whale to the new bull in town. It was short. It was only 5 minutes, which I think is great. It's going to be the new Tesla engineering headquarters, which shows that brain power is still in California, is not, willing to move to Austin just right now. I thought Elon looked great. He looked in shape. He looked actually, not tired or whatever. We're obviously always looking for every little indicator, so that was nice. And I just like that it was, short and nice. We know that Elon does time management by 5 minutes. Well, he made sure the politicians got that for once as well. So it was not, one of these endless speeches and pep rallies. It was, to the point. Obviously, Governor Newsom had to say some stuff about California as well, but the main message was Elon's, and I really liked it. I like the fact that there is expansion. Tesla has to expand, factories, headquarters, engineering talent, all has to come together.
So why did they need to have the governor of California, Elon, physically there just to announce that they're going to do more engineering hires? Why is this such a big deal, and why did they do this?
I guess that Governor Newsom wants to be seen next to Elon. There've been now 2 years. There have been now 2 years of infighting about Tesla leaving California. We all had those memories of the COVID restrictions around the Fremont factories and all that. And I think this is like the détente of all these moments, and everybody wanted to celebrate it. I'm sure there are permits that are needed, and Elon. Okay. I find Elon is getting very clever at playing these political games. Right? I mean, he's replying to Biden. He's seen now with Governor Newsom. He's obviously also seen with the Texas governor. So I like the fact that this is getting a little bit more friendly. Let's say friendly, yeah.
All right. So some other tweets that happened this morning was Gali tweeted this out. He said, my biggest concern with Tesla isn't adding someone new to the board. It's making sure we give Elon back complete control of the company, new voting stock chairman. If we let a rule by committee happen, it will be the start of Tesla's downfall. And the reason why I showed this is because actually Elon initially liked it. He liked the tweet. This came out 10 hours ago. He liked the tweet this morning, and then he replied to it, and we'll talk about that shortly. So tell me why, what this is about. You are the person that knows so much about what's happening with the shareholder meetings, but is there a potential for Elon to lose control? Is he going to be able to get back his chairmanship?
Okay, so let's unpack it, because there's quite a lot in there. So I liked Gali's tweet as well, except for one word, which was the word back, to give back to Elon control. I think actually Elon has never lost control. I honestly don't think that him being physically more concentrated on Twitter is a sign of losing control. I think at the moment he has control, and I think the way the board of directors is set up is the way he wanted it to be set up. So while I like the tweet, I wouldn't have put the word back in it. The content of the tweet, why did I like it? I am absolutely against all this corporate America, and it's not only in America, it's in other parts of the world as well, way of doing business, meaning people go into meetings discussing what was decided in the last meeting and programming the date for the next meeting, and then they're done and whatever. There's just so much lost energy. I remember a study from Goldman Sachs, I think it was in the early 2000s, so 20 years ago, when I was still in the corporate world, and it really had a wake-up call then, and that's 20 years ago, where Goldman Sachs came out with a study saying that in corporate America, employees are efficient about 15% of the time. Okay, because that was when emails started to come up, people had access to internet on their computers at work and whatever. 15%. All the rest was chit-chatting, being inefficient, whatever. That was 20 years ago. So imagine with the distractions we have today, plus obviously the whole remote work and everything situation. So lots of corporate structures are stuck in something highly inefficient. And Tesla has been, and I hope will be for a long, long time, this lean, mean machine. And why is it the lean, mean machine it is? Because Elon keeps everybody on his toes. I mean, I have the hugest respect for him as the engineer and has the brain as the visionary. But what I really like is that he is the one keeping everybody on their toes, keeping everybody motivated, at bringing at all times their best to the company. No completely old-fashioned structure, no hierarchy, no reporting, no whatever. It's all as lean and mean as possible. And Gali is right. We have to make sure it stays that way. And so the question is, would any, in particular obviously Ross, would any new board member put that into danger? Now, I want to, on one side, de-dramatize. A new board member would be a board member number 9, right? That's just 1/9 of a group of people. So that one person doesn't necessarily have a lot of power. But the question is, does that bring with it a change in attitude? Does that bring with it a change in attitude? In a couple of senses, by the way. 8 people versus 1, one person trying to structure stuff that didn't need to be structured before. So there's all this, tasteless crap. I'm sorry to call it crap, but that's what I mean. Of having suddenly to do like everybody else does. And the thing we all love about Tesla is that they don't do things like they always does. Doesn't that mean that they don't break from time to time a glass or the porcelain in the cupboard? Sure, they do. They're making mistakes. I'm not saying they're not making mistakes. I just don't want them to get sclerosed. I think the word that suits my thinking the most is I don't want them sclerosed. I want them lean and mean and agile and not something stuck. And so let's get to the. Do you want to get to the compensation
let's
package
get to
first?
his compensation package, and then let's get to his reply. So this was a recent information news came out, was that Musk hasn't taken any kind of cash salary since 2019. He only got $23,000 because of the minimum wage law at the time. And then, but he's currently working for free. So as of this month, he's not getting that stock package because it's now complete. So the package of options he was granted in 2012 is now finished, expired last year. He'd received 9 of the 10 blocks. He was so successful. Last month, the company disclosed he received the last remaining blocks of option granted under an even more lucrative 2018 pay package. So he is not being paid by anything right now. But so are you expecting that there's going to be a vote or the board members will be offering him a brand new, multi-year massive stock option grants?
Okay, so you're not going to be happy, Herbert, because I have to, this is not going to be a yes or no answer, so I have to need a little bit of time. So we had this first package in 2012. Then we had the big package in 2018. Both at those moments, nobody in the world thought that they could become reality, right? The ambitions of those different steps were so high that you have multiple articles from the highest praised Wall Street analysts saying this will never come true. right? So now in hindsight, complaining that they were very generous just makes me laugh. I digged out those 2018 articles. I was having a good laugh. So that's the first thing. So yes, you're right. While he was in California, he had to take the minimum wage, which is 23,000 and something. And that was all he had. There you go, Harry. And so when he moved to Austin, I think he even renounced to that. So he is not paid, right? I mean, let's not start crying and pulling our Kleenex out for Elon. But the thing is, he is currently working for free for us because the options he got allocated due to those pay structures of 2012 and 2018, he earned them. They're done. And when I hear people saying, oh, that he should now reimburse them because the stock price went down, well, excuse me, if you would say to anybody who is on a salary, excuse me, bring back your salary from last year because this year we didn't sell as much, whatever you're selling. I mean, this is just not how it works. So he earned those. He has them. He has them as options that are exercisable. And he currently doesn't have a salary. So do I think this is a good moment to introduce a new compensation package? Now, this is a very, very tricky question. Usually, you arrive to nail me down to a yes or no position. This one, I'm really not decided. I had this discussion with Farzad a couple of days. He's clear that he thinks this will be linked to Master Plan 3. That this and you have two option packages, and they actually coincide with Master Plan 1 and 2, right? You know that better than me, the old dates for Master Plan. So maybe he's right that this one has to come now parallel, and that it's going to be as outrageously huge in ambition, and then people may hopefully just laugh about it and whatever. So that's probably the most likely outcome now. Now, my no position is it's not a really good moment to do so. I think there's already so much drama and noise out there that maybe delaying it a couple of months, this whole, compensation package discussion. Why do I say that?
Why?
Well, there we go.
You have to prepare this for the, don't you have to prepare this for the annual shareholder meeting?
Well, it would have to come out now, I guess, at the Investor Day, because that's when the Master Plan 3 comes out, and then it would be voted on the 16th of May.
Exactly.
That's actually a good question, because one thing I was looking for yesterday was how many days prior to investment day do they have to publish the proxies? Proxies means the agenda on which you vote, and I think it's 60. I was not 100% clear, so that would mean 16th of March. So yes, on the 1st of March, they could start talking about it. On the 16th of March, there are proxy votes, and then the vote would be on the 16th of May. So again, I think this is the most probable. I still have a little doubt in my head saying, maybe he shouldn't do it this year. Why? Well, just because I think there is a lot of drama already. What's the drama about? First, I think that Elon could become chairman again. I would love that he, and there are, I know, I already hear it. Yes, Gary doesn't want this, or yes, Ross doesn't want it. I don't care. I have my own brain, my own mouth, my own hands, right? So I'm not speaking. I'm not the spokesperson for any fund manager here whatsoever. I'm just my own. So and I've written this actually already weeks ago in my Substack. When Elon had in 2016 that SEC ruling, or whatever you want to call it, he was supposed for 3 years to step down as a chairperson, right? And that's when Robin Denholm became chairperson, and she was up for re-election in 2020 and got re-elected for 3 years then. Sorry that I'm into these dates, but it's important here. So she's up this year for a re-election, and Elon is up for re-election, and also Hero and Joe Gabbins are up for re-election. Exactly. So we have 4 out of the 8 up for re-elections. So a reshuffle is possible. I think Elon wants to state that 2018 SEC behavior was just outrageous. He has said so, and yesterday his lawyers filed a complaint with the SEC to please stop having these requirements still implemented, right? So I think he's fighting for this so that he can become a chairperson again, and Robin steps back into her finance role, where she's the committee head of that audit committee and all that. So I think that is still in the makings. And I'm just like, do we really need a compensation package now? I mean, again, Personally, I'm fine with having it now. And if it's linked to Master Plan 3, be it. That's no problem at all. I just wonder whether the drama is necessary.
No, I don't care about the drama. It needs to happen now. This is it's a complete redefining of who Tesla is. It's going to be massive scale. It's going to be energy. He should be tagged in this new thing. So let's just review this quickly, which is, when Gali sent that email, he first liked it about, 10 hours after Gali sent that out. So he probably just saw it this morning. Then about an hour later, he replied to that tweet. So he was thinking about it. He came back and he attached this and he said, in a rapidly changing technology landscape, conventional wisdom fails. And he's proving it by showing this chart, which is, this is the US vehicle sales of 2022 versus 2021. Yeah. Tesla is just killing it. And every other car manufacturer basically just failing big time right now. So I think this is his way to say that the car business, we've won it, and I did it because of the way I did it. And he needs to be in control to be able to do the same thing for energy. That's what I think is happening.
That's what you do with a lean, mean machine, even though it's 127,000 people. This is not a question about when I hear certain people running for the board going, Tesla has to grow up, Tesla has to become an Apple, Tesla has to this, Tesla has to that. No, that's exactly what Tesla doesn't have to do. It has to stay this agile, lean, mean machine for years to come. And the person ensuring that is Elon. And anybody trying to get Elon out of there or trying to minimize his impact will hear of me. You may not like it, but I'm going to do it.
Martin says this, a huge ambitious composition package would really win over Wall Street. I don't know if he's being sarcastic.
I don't know. I've had my discussions with Martin the last week. Yeah, I think so.
Yes, you did. You got mad at him.
Yeah, I did because he's very much in favor. He's very much in favor of Ross's run, and I'm very much. I mean,
not being sarcastic.
Let's put that. Let's maybe talk a
here's
second
the other
about
issue, right?
That. Yeah.
So his stake, Tesla's stake, is now smaller than the largest index funds that are holding. So there's three major index funds, the big three. And they've now been, as we've been showing in Q4 specifically, they've been loading up on Tesla as we all should have been while we were selling it. But now it says here that Vanguard has become Tesla's second largest shareholder with 6.85%, BlackRock at 3.6%, and State Street at 3.13%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you also have Fidelity's passive one, which adds another percent. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it's saying it's worth noting that BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street each have their respective active funds, but you're saying that it's actually minimal. So the collective ownership is 13.5%.
That adds a little bit. Exactly, that adds a little bit. So let me maybe explain what this all means, because people always hear me scream about passive index funds. What does it mean, an index fund? I know, I'm sorry. I'm going on and on. I'm on fire today. So the thing is that you'll find today, and have found for the last 30, 40 years, very cheap index funds. What do? They replicate an index, so you don't have the key person risk of a manager. All they do is replicate an index. That gives people a lot of comfort. But what they don't understand, there are two things. There are actually three things happening there. First of all, there's somebody behind this index. This is not a static index. These are the S&Ps of these worlds. And I mean, if you've followed me long enough, you know what I think about these rating agencies and these index makers. So the first thing is, you actually, fair enough, you don't depend on a fund manager, but you depend on much worse than that. Second, these people, they may be putting up funds that are cheap, but they're making, when you are not paying, you are the product, right? You remember all that, how it works on social media? Well, the same happens with the index funds. The fact that people pour money in that makes these funds trade, right? Because they adjust to in and outflows every day. And on the trades is order flow, and order flow, guess what, is paid. Remember all those Robin Hood discussions about a year and a half ago? The same thing happens on those index funds. But now the worst of the worst for these index funds is that they actually have your voting rights, because in this 60-day window of the proxy being published, there will be a date at which is the date at which your shares count to your votes. Every single share is a vote, right? Now, guess what? If you're an index fund, and you have like the Vanguards and the BlackRocks of this world, $350 billion, and 1.36 of these are Tesla, because that is the weight that Tesla is in the S&P 500 at the moment. Well, you have the voting power for all these shares, right? Because you are the fund manager, and they use that. And they use that to vote on their agenda. It's to the point that they actually have sections on their website where they explain their agenda, how they're for diversity. They want 30% diversity of this and 30% diversity of that, and blah, blah, blah. It drives me crazy. I want merit, but that's just, me and that what it is. So that's where we are. And that's why I got so upset with Ross the other day, because he's now suddenly going into negotiations, I guess, with these institutionals for his run for board. And that's where I lost it. I'm sorry.
But you did say that it's going to be unlikely that nothing is going to happen with this anyway. So I don't know why we're spending way too much time talking about it.
No. Well, it's not impossible. Is it highly likely? I don't want to exaggerate it, but it's not impossible. There are 3 groups of people. No, actually, there are 4 groups of people. Up to yesterday, I was in doubt whether the insiders could vote. So that means Elon, brother, other board members. So that's about 16% of the vote, right? If they were not able to vote, I was much more uncomfortable. But they are able to vote. We got that confirmed yesterday by a lawyer. So we have those, and I do believe they will not vote for Ross. Then we have 37% currently retail. We already know that the third largest retail investor after Elon, which we counted in the first one, and Larry Ellison, Leo will vote for Ross. He already said so. I think there is a block of retail investors that will vote for him. But now the biggest chunk, and that's why we talked earlier about these passive funds, are these institutional investors. They have now between 47 and 50% of Tesla shares. And they have, in the big firms, their own proxy voting advocates, but they're usually passed by what's called proxy advisors. So these are 3-4 big firms that advise all the other institutionals what to do. So we'll have to watch whether Ross really gets on the agenda, which I think is now probable. And the second thing is what we have to watch is what these proxy advisors advise their thousands of institutional investors to do.
Yep. Okay. Well, please, let's continue the conversation. Join us at the following. We're going to have an immediate live stream right now. We're going to be talking about the clean energy funding. We're going to talk about this new contract that is being signed right now with Tesla. Okay, let's jump off, but please join us at the next live stream. Thanks.
Okay. Sorry.